My name is Kelsey Kettlehet. I'm an engineering associate at AIChE, and today I am sitting with one of the featured panelists for the Engineering Diversity Workshop. Adrienne Minerick is the co-chair for the National Diversity Committee at the American Society for Engineering and Education, and she's also the Associate Dean at Michigan Tech. Adrienne, thank you for being with me today. It's good to have you.
Thanks for the invitation.
So on the panel, you spoke about the ways that AIChE can help foster and strengthen diversity efforts in both industry and academia. So what do you view as the biggest challenge that's facing the community today in terms of diversity?
Historically, diversity has been about underrepresented individuals talking about how they can increase their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge with that is you've got a low number of individuals that each have their own realm of influence. And if you sum that up, in total, it's actually fairly small. And the results of 20 to 30 years of conversations along this line has been, in some cases, even a decline, but maybe a few % increase in many of these underrepresented groups. And that's just not sufficient. So my message at the panel was essentially that what we need to do is we need to engage the majority, and we need to engage in a very meaningful way so that it's very comfortable to have these conversations. Majority individuals involved in some of these conversations are the exception, not the norm, and they need to be the norm. The vast majority of individuals in our profession, both in academia and industry, have great intentions, and they just don't necessarily have the skills or the knowledge to be able to enact this change. And so if we can create a movement of individuals that are each looking out to be able to foster our next generation and make sure that that next generation looks like our general population, then we'll actually change these numbers, and we'll change it more than 0.5% a year.
So you've played a big role in the development of the Safe Zone ALI training workshops. Can you explain a little bit more about what a safe zone is and the important role that it's playing in the work environment?
Certainly. Safe Zone has traditionally been reserved towards LGBTQ, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning, sometimes gets used for the Q. And basically it's an opportunity to be able to first educate exactly what gender expression, gender identity means, and differences that are there, as well as walk people through some of the challenges that LGBTQ individuals encounter. The second half of that training really allows, it's more of a workshop, meaning that usually there are scenarios that LGBTQ individuals have encountered at some point in time, and talking through what might be the best way of handling that. Because in many situations, while we may have good intentions, when we're caught unaware and we're not necessarily equipped, we may not react in a way that diminishes the slight and maximizes the learning. And so it really gives a framework for that. The Safe Zone training in general, though, is a wonderful framework to be able to teach a whole variety of other aspects of diversity. And so at ASEE, what we've done is really embraced this format. It is predominantly the LGBTQ, but we've sort of taken that attitude forward and translated it into others, so we can learn from that as a model.
Very interesting. Yeah, so aside from policy changes, what are some simple ways that somebody might be able to promote these safe zones? You've discussed a little bit the importance of them, so what is a good practical way that that might be implemented on a personal level?
Well, the first means that I give for this is a colleague of mine that's been very instrumental in the Safe Zone training, Stephanie Farrell at Rowan, has helped lead a team. We've got National Science Foundation funding to create online learning communities. And these online learning communities have meta trainers that are training facilitators that can, after going through this, be able to facilitate their own at their own institution. There's less than 20% of institutions that do have this training, and engineering is more resistant than other fields to many of these concepts. And so it's really a grassroots effort. There are things you can do from a policy level, but there are things that can be done just from learning And this provides a very accessible means to learn. And just one individual in a single department, one individual in a single unit and industry can start fostering and spreading this, and it can be from the ground up.
So back to the panel, what do you hope is the main message that was conveyed and taken from that the audience might have gotten from everything that was said on the panel?
I certainly hope that it was a much broader definition of diversity and the strength that comes from being able to pay attention to your climate and actively foster that climate to ensure that basically every talent that's out there is nurtured forward. And these conversations sometimes take on a flavor that is beneficial and sometimes counter-beneficial. For example, it doesn't matter what group it is, right? There's white males that get bashed upon, you know, a little bit more than others. But even if you get a group of predominantly black, let's say males, together, they suffer from the same limited group think that's there. So diversity is really making sure that we're talking across multiple individuals from multiple different backgrounds. And we learn the skills to be able to do that, where we actively listen. We don't ever diminish or minimize a contribution that's there, that everybody's voice is really heard and considered and valued and not negated. And that requires learning skills on the part of everybody.
Absolutely.
So I hope that was the key message that came out of there, that we can't keep doing things the way we've done them in the past. And to create a movement, we break out of these barriers that I'm only comfortable talking to people of my own kind about my struggles. Because, you know, the moment you encounter a struggle, there are others that can understand and can be a huge advocate in moving things forward.
Well, great. Thank you for speaking with me today, and I am excited to see where the Safe Zone training goes from here. Thank you very much.